The Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma has also been holding a briefing today where she's confirmed that the National State of Disaster declaration, as announced by President Ramaphosa last night, has now been gazetted. The minister says the move is to ensure that all the people affected by the natural disaster get the help they need. She says the floods have not only affected KwaZulu-Natal, but the rest of the country as well. Mbali Thethani is our reporter on that story. Mbali is with me now in studio to talk more about the disaster declaration. And Mbali, the minister has explained just a bit more about what exactly it's meant to achieve.
Of course, Thembekile, just last night we saw President Ramaphosa addressing the country and, of course, placing this under a national state of disaster. We know that last week it was declared a provincial disaster, and now this has been elevated, of course, saying that it's not only KZN that has been affected, it is also the likes of the Eastern Cape who have been affected by these floods, and, of course, saying that the need of KZN and the Eastern Cape needs national government to intervene and to monitor and address some of the issues. We know that at least more than 4,000 people have been displaced. 40,000 people have been displaced, and at least 4,000 homes have also been destroyed there, Thembekile. And of course, they are also hearing from the Minister of Cooperative Governance, Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, saying that there was a need for us, or for government, to place this under national state of disaster. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
This is really to ensure that we assist and protect the public, as the law says, provide relief to the public, protect property, prevent and combat any disruption to life, dealing with the destructive nature and other effects of this disaster. So this has been gazetted, and therefore we will be now working accordingly.
Mbali, and another thing that came out of this briefing by the minister, and she was joined by Minister in the Presidency, Mondli Kungubele, is that as things stand, we A, don't have a final estimated cost of damage in KwaZulu-Natal, and B, we don't know definitively how long the state of disaster declaration, the national one, will last.
You're certainly right, Thembekile, and you'd remember that we've just come out of a national state of disaster, and of course this was almost for 2 years because of the COVID pandemic, and of course when you look at these two, they're quite different. This is a natural disaster which has taken place, and we've just come out from a more health pandemic. And you are right, there is no time frame, but we know that Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma said that when she's declared, or the president has declared this national state of disaster, according to the law, it is expected to last for 3 months. But you'd also remember that the previous national state of disaster kept on being prolonged and kept on being postponed. But what is also important here is that government has no clue in terms of how far the extent of the damage is to KZN and some of parts of the Eastern Cape. So it is quite important to check in the next couple of days or couple of weeks how long it will take for these assessors to go and assess the extent of the damage. Because you'd also know that the President last night did say that the reconstruction and the rebuilding of KZN is expected to at least start from this week. We know that thousands have been displaced and many are still looking for homes. And those are some of the questions that they really couldn't answer, because they are saying that just like the pandemic, we'll also then see the ministers from the different departments who will be dealing with the reconstruction and the rebuilding of the province. They will then be able to assess and give us the specifics in terms of how government will be responding to this destruction in KZN.
The law, the Disaster Management Act, allows this to be initially 3 months, up to 3 months. And if it needs to be terminated early, it can be terminated early. But it also allows for the extension if there is still a need for it. So the initial period will be 3 months, and then an assessment will be made whether it's extended or not.
Mbali Thethani, thank you very much on that reporting. Mbali was wrapping up what came out of that briefing by the Cooperative Governance Minister Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma earlier today. Still ahead.